What's going on, everybody? You're watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We got a mailbag coming up for all of the real ones out there. Wanted to get back to our roots of the channel and just chop it up with all of the real ones. If you didn't get your question on today's show, it's your own damn fault because it means you're not subscribed to the channel. So fix that. So go down right now, hit that big red button, and hit the sub button. Let's go. First question coming in from To the Moon. Okay, what's up, To the Moon? He says, do you think the Knicks trade Obi Toppin? If I had to place money on a player on the Knicks roster that I think is most likely to be traded, I do believe it is Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin, just like Emmanuel Quickly, are due for contract extensions this summer. I don't believe that Obi Toppin will get one, which means he's going to be on the final year of his deal, which means the Knicks could run the risk of losing him for nothing, which tells me the Knicks are going to move on from Obi Toppin. Look, I'm a fan of Obi. I like the story. I like the New York blood that the kid's got. I think he's a burst of energy at times, and I think he can be a spark plug for your offense. But at the end of the day, when the Knicks drafted Obi Toppin inside the lottery, they had no idea that R.J. Barrett was, Julius Randle was going to have 2 All-NBA seasons in 3 years. And for that reason, that's why I'm moving Obi. There's no role for him here. There's no room for him to get better. And there's no minutes for him to have. You cannot play RJ and Obi together. 1, because your coach is Tibbs. And 2, I don't think it works. So for that reason, I think the Knicks are going to shop Obi Toppin this offseason. But should they trade him? This is your chance to weigh in. Should the Knicks trade Obi Toppin? I want to hear from you guys down below. Type T for trade. Type K for keep. I just think when you read the room and you kind of look at everything, seems like Obi Toppin is on his way out. T Money, what up, T? Says, would Paul George be a better option as a pure 3 than Zach Lavine? Yes, but one is hurt all the time and one is not. One is 28 years old. I'll double check that real quick. Zach Lavine is 28 and Paul George is 33. So, sure. In a vacuum, I would rather have Paul George. But when you talk about injuries and you talk about age, it kind of makes me sour a little bit on Paul George. Like, if I'm creating a player and I could have a perfect small forward for the Knicks, it would be Paul George. But why do I want to trade for a 33-year-old player that hasn't been healthy in how long? I think Paul George is a better basketball player in a vacuum than Zach Lavine, but Zach Lavine is younger by 5 years, and he plays basketball. So for that reason, I would choose Zach Lavine. But I do think George is a better player in a vacuum and on 2K. Jameer, my guy, says, let's get Brandon Ingram out of New Orleans because Zion is screwing them over. He deserves better. I'm a big fan of Brandon Ingram. I think he's got a game that would fit really well as the Knicks starting small forward. He can get a bucket whenever he has to. This past year, he averaged 24.7 points per game. But the guy hasn't played in more than 62 games since 2016. This past year, Brandon Ingram, 45 games played. Year before, 55 games played. Then 61, then 62, then 52, then 59. Great talent, great player. I wonder if he's got that dog in him. Like, does he care about winning or does he care about Brandon Ingram? Great player, no doubt about it. Look, you don't average 24 points per game on 48% from the deck and 39% from 3 without being great, but the guy played in 45 games. There's 82 in a season. Steven Vargas says, will the Knicks be contenders or pretenders for the 2023-2024 season? I'm hoping they're contenders. I think that you have a good nucleus here. I believe in the vision of this front office. And I believe with Jalen Brunson, you're always going to be a team that can compete in the NBA. If you just run it back, I think you are a pretender. But I don't just expect the Knicks to run it back. You can't sit on your chips forever. You got to cash them in at some point. I think they make a move, and I think they make a move with the idea of being contenders. And let's hope that's what the Knicks are this year. We're going to get to more questions from all the real ones out there, but we got an awesome deal out there for the real ones. When you go to chatsports.com/KnicksCombo, You're going to get 2 Knicks t-shirts for $29.99. $29, 2 t-shirts. You're not going to beat the deal. Go to chatsports.com/Knicks combo. Marvin Daniels, what up, man? Mikal Bridges would be a great, yeah, he would. He would. It's a pipe dream, though. It's a pipe dream. Nets aren't trading Mikal Bridges. They've been on record a couple of times this offseason. But if I could make a wish list of players I want the Knicks to add, Mikal Bridges is in probably my top 10, maybe even top 5. Huge fan of Mikal Bridges. I think he plays the game the right way, and he's young, not even close to his ceiling, and I think it would be awesome to get the Villanova boys back together. But we're going to have to wait for him to be a free agent. There's no way, no how are the Brooklyn Nets trading Mikal Bridges to the New York Knicks. Johnson, what up, bro? Says, how would Cat's big contract limit us from making moves in future trades with the new cap going up? I think it limits you in a lot of ways. Let's say, just for the sake of making things easy, right? The trade that you make for Karl Anthony Towns includes Julius Randle and Evan Fournier to get the money. You're paying Cat an absolute bag. You're paying Mitchell Robinson $15 million. You're giving Josh Hart $18 million. You're giving R.J. Barrett $25 million. You're going to have to give Jalen Brunson $50 million in a couple of years. All of your salary cap is warped up into a couple of players. And same could be said about other players. But I think Cat's is a little bit different with him getting paid $60 million. I think Cat's a good player. I think he's a nice guy. He ain't built for New York. He's just not. He's not. Danny Mack says, do you guys think Russell Westbrook will go crazy at the Garden every night or nah? Nah. Donnie, we did a video on Russell Westbrook a couple of days ago. I got all the respect in the world for Russell Westbrook. He's got that dog in him. His mentality's better, probably suited for being a boxer or a fighter. Thing is, you got to make jump shots in the NBA. And that's never been a strong suit of his. I don't really want Westbrook on this team. No, I do not, Donnie. What is your goal for the Knicks next season? I'm curious what all you guys are going to say here. I would say the Knicks overachieved this year. I remember during last year's offseason, I said 43, 44, 45 wins. Let's be a top 6 seed. Let's be a playoff team and not a play-in team. They did that and then some. They won a playoff series, and they took the Miami Heat, the Eastern Conference representatives, to 6 games, and I think they should have won that series. My goal, Eastern Conference Finals. What's yours? BK Ray. What up, homie? Would you make a deal for Beal and Kristaps, and what would you give up? Yeah, I would. RJ and Barrett, straight up. Who says no? I mean, RJ and Julius for Beal and Kristaps, straight up. Can we make that happen? I would love to trade for Beal. I think Porzingis would be fun. But I just don't think the Knicks, and Ian Begley said it, he doesn't think the Knicks are going to go after Porzingis. Beal, though, keep your eyes on him. I think Beal's definitely a player the Knicks are intrigued by. Big Blue, Keldon Johnson trade. I like Keldon Johnson as a player. I worry a little bit about the outside shot. You can always develop and learn that. But why would the San Antonio Spurs trade one of their young blue chip prospects as they're getting ready to add Victor Wembanyama to the fold? Sure, I'd love to have Keldon Johnson. Don't think it's all that realistic, as I think the Spurs want to build around Johnson and Wemby instead of trading the best young player they have on their roster. Donnie back with, again, another one. Can we trade Tibbs? Yes, but no. Any coach that doesn't enforce the team to attack a freshly injured Jimmy Buckets. Yeah, still kind of weird that the Knicks didn't do that. I think Tibbs had too much respect for Jimmy Butler in that series. Is there a ceiling for Tom Thibodeau? Yes. Have the Knicks reached that ceiling? No. And until we do, I think it's kind of worthless to talk about a new coach because I don't think he's going anywhere. Right or wrong, left or right, I don't think Tibbs is going anywhere. As always, I appreciate you guys for tuning in to Knicks Now by Chat Sports. If I missed your question, send me a DM over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_, and I'll answer it over there.